There's an America you were never supposed to see. Not the one with football stadiums and state fairs, not the shiny skyscrapers or the small-town diners, but an older, stranger America, where live rattlesnakes are lifted in worship, the dead are married, children are buried alive for therapy, and entire communities vanish behind silence and belief. It's not ancient history. It's not science fiction. It's here. Now let's start where belief bites back. In the Appalachian backwoods, faith doesn't just live in hymns, it hisses. In certain Pentecostal churches, followers handle live rattlesnakes during sermons. They believe that if their faith is true, the venom won't harm them. This ritual, called serpent-handling, comes from a single verse in the Bible. They shall take up serpents. And so they do. With closed eyes and trembling hands, they lift death above their heads and call it holy. Over the decades, many have died. Pastors, parents, some in the middle of preaching. And yet, no one calls 911. No one runs. Because in this belief system, death isn't failure, it's confirmation. Even children are raised to witness this. Some are taught to handle snakes by the time they're 12. It's not a show. It's not rebellion. It's salvation. And it's terrifying. But in hidden America, danger doesn't always come with fangs. Sometimes it comes in a blanket. In a fringe therapeutic practice known as rebirthing, participants are wrapped tightly in layers of blankets and pillows, then told to fight their way out. It's meant to simulate birth, to reconnect with forgotten trauma, to heal through struggle. But in 2000, it killed a child. A 10-year-old girl, adopted from Russia, was wrapped up during a rebirthing session. She begged to breathe, said she was dying. The adults holding her down told her to push harder. Her final words were, "I can't breathe. I'm going to die." She did. And yet, the practice wasn't banned everywhere. It simply went underground. Disguised under new names like womb regression or somatic release. Marketed at spiritual retreats and self-help seminars. Because in parts of America, pain is packaged as transformation. And for some, the ultimate transformation is disappearance. In remote pockets across the US, small communities have cut themselves off completely from modern society. They are anarcho-primitivists, modern tribes that reject electricity, money, and identity itself. They live without phones, without mirrors, without time. Some refuse to speak for months at a time. Others burn their IDs, their birth certificates, their pasts. One man hasn't looked in a mirror in 15 years. Another sleeps in caves and calls it home. To them, civilization is the virus, and nature is the cure. They don't want to live off-grid. They want to undo the grid completely. But in other parts of America, the silence isn't chosen, it's enforced. Inside a cult once called the Silent House, members weren't allowed to speak, not unless granted permission. No casual conversations, no laughing, no singing, no names. Children learn to whisper before they learn to walk. Adults use gestures instead of words. Even eye contact was discouraged. Individuality was erased. Some members spent years without speaking a full sentence. When they left, many had to relearn how to talk, how to think, how to exist outside of silence. Their voices had been replaced by ritual. And then there's the 12 Tribes, a group still active today across the United States. To join, you must surrender everything. Your name, your job, your autonomy. You are renamed by the elders. You live communally. You follow strict gender roles. You obey without question. Children are homeschooled. Romantic relationships are arranged. Personal ambition is forbidden. They run organic cafes. They sell handmade soaps. To outsiders, it all looks idyllic. But ex-members describe punishments, emotional control, and spiritual manipulation. Some say they didn't realize how deep the control went until they tried to leave. And sometimes, you can't leave with your family. Some parents escape alone, forced to abandon their children behind walls of belief. Because in cults, freedom is betrayal, and yet not all rituals aim to control. Some aim to escape the world entirely. In 1997, in a mansion outside San Diego, 39 people lay down in matching tracksuits and black and white Nike sneakers. They were members of Heaven's Gate, a UFO cult that believed Earth was about to be recycled. Their leader, Marshall Applewhite, taught that a spaceship riding behind the Hale-Bopp comet would take them to a higher plane if they left their human bodies behind. To prepare, they shaved their heads, gave up their possessions, some castrated themselves. Then they ate applesauce laced with poison, died in shifts, covered their faces with purple cloths. It wasn't panic. It wasn't chaos. It was calm, structured, planned. They believed they weren't dying. They were boarding the ship. Their website still exists, and it's still maintained by loyal followers. Because belief doesn't end at death. Sometimes, that's when it begins. And in America, even love isn't immune to ritual. In some states, it's legal to marry someone who's already dead. It's called posthumous marriage. And while rare, it's recognized in law. One woman married her fiancé after he died in combat. She wore a white dress, held his photo, and stood before a judge. The certificate was signed. She became his widow. It's a ceremony rooted in grief, but carried out with full ritual. Some see it as closure, others as a refusal to let go. And in one of America's strangest experiments, love wasn't forbidden. It was required to be shared. In the 1800s, the Oneida community banned monogamy. Every adult was married to every other. They called it complex marriage. Sex was communal. Love was regulated. Jealousy was punished. Children were raised collectively. Couples caught getting too close were reassigned. They believed love, when exclusive, was selfish. That true purity came from detachment. Eventually, the community fell apart, but its legacy remains in modern communes, free love movements, and experimental utopias. And in Native American traditions, some rituals don't control love. They transform pain into power. In sacred branding ceremonies, red-hot metal is used to burn patterns into skin. These are not tattoos, they're declarations, marks of passage, of bravery, of becoming. And in the sun dance, one of the most physically intense indigenous rituals, participants fast for 4 days. No food, no water. Then, they pierce their chest with skewers, attach themselves to a central pole, and dance until the flesh tears. They collapse, they rise, they dance again. Because in this tradition, pain isn't punishment, it's prayer. Each scar tells a story the tongue can't. But not all scars are visible. Some are hidden in dimly lit halls, behind closed doors, wrapped in tradition. Fraternal brotherhoods, secret societies. They've existed for centuries, passed down through generations. Initiations include blindfolds, mock funerals, and sometimes blood oaths. One drop, sealed with silence. New members swear loyalty for life. And what happens inside is never spoken of again. These groups claim it's symbolic, just tradition. But power hides in secrecy. And secrecy, when unexamined, becomes danger. So why do these rituals persist? Why do people dance for days, marry ghosts, or bleed to belong? Because humans crave meaning, crave identity, crave transformation. Ritual makes the world feel understandable, even if it costs you everything. Your body, your freedom, your voice. This is the America behind the curtain. Snake churches, burial therapy, ghost weddings, silent cults, fire tattoos, and blood-bound brotherhoods. Not fiction, not mythology. This is real, and it's happening now. So ask yourself, what would you endure to be chosen? What would you surrender to feel saved? And what rituals are you already part of, without even knowing? Subscribe for more cultural rarities the world was never meant to reveal. And comment, unreal, if any of this made your jaw drop. This was the America you were never meant to see.